Michelle, and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. So I just filmed a live with Paula M, so make sure you go over and check out her channel. We talked about a lot of interesting topics, and she's just a really sweet person. So go over and show Paula some love. I will leave a link for her down below. But you guys, I thought it'd be really fun today if we kind of shook it up a little bit, had a little bit of fun, and we did my 2023 Royal Family predictions. Now, of course, this is just mainly off of my own opinion for entertainment purposes only, but I thought it'd be a really fun way to kind of segue and break up all of the royal content that has been coming your way. So you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So my first prediction is I think we're going to have some royal babies. That's right. I think we're going to have some royal pregnancies next year. I predict either Princess Eugenie or Princess Beatrice are going to be pregnant. And I actually think they could be pregnant at the same time. Again, this is a fantasy prediction, but I believe there's going to be another royal pregnancy, another royal baby, possibly two. Maybe one will get pregnant and maybe 5 months later, another one will get pregnant. I also believe we're going to get a royal engagement. I believe that Peter Phillips and his girlfriend, her name is Lindsay Wallace. She just met the family apparently in the last couple of months. I believe by the end of 2023, we could see another royal wedding. So look out for Peter Phillips and his girlfriend possibly getting engaged, and Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice, either one of them or both of them announcing a second pregnancy. Now, I also think that Catherine and William are going to move to Windsor Castle. I know they had just moved into Adelaide Cottage right around the time that Her Majesty the Queen had passed away, which was horrible timing. But you have to realize they're right on the Windsor estate, and they do need more room for their kids. I believe William and Catherine by next school year, so maybe by August of next year, will move into Windsor Castle and free up Adelaide Cottage. Now, another interesting twist. We know that Princess Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank, had recently moved out of Frogmore Cottage. Now, a lot of people were kind of scratching their heads like, why did they leave Frogmore Cottage? We know that her husband, Jack Brooksbank, accepted a job in Portugal where they're going to spend at least 6 months out of the year living in Portugal. But why would they continue to sublet Frogmore Cottage? Harry and Meghan are barely there, so it would be good. It would make sense to have someone living there part of the year, but they left the cottage quietly. Now, there was a story that came out in the press saying that, Princess Eugenie and Prince Andrew had a falling out with Catherine and William, that they were aiming for Adelaide Cottage, but that the Welleses got that house over Princess Eugenie. Princess Eugenie apparently had a marital home of Ivy Cottage that she lived in when her and her husband first got married. And then they stayed, of course, at Nottingham Cottage, which seems to be like a little place that people stop over. So there's some weird situation going on between Princess Eugenie, her husband, the Sussexes, and possibly the Welleses. Remember, it was kind of the royal moving residences last summer, but with her husband living in Portugal half the year, maybe they didn't want to pay the rent to the Sussexes. I don't know. I do know during the Queen's funeral, there was some weird body language going on between Jack Brooksbank, Princess Eugenie, Meghan, and Harry. If you saw the video clip, the body language guy broke it down where they're all waiting for the limos to come at the end of the Queen's service, and they were not speaking to each other. Now, they're supposed to be besties, supposed to have a good relationship, but there's something weird going on there, and then they moved out of their home around that time. Now, there was a story that Princess Eugenie and her husband left because the Waleses had moved into Adelaide Cottage. So we do know that Princess Eugenie and the Waleses don't have a great relationship. It's a little bit strained, as we've talked about this on my channel before. One has to do with her father, Prince Andrew, and the second has to do with her close relationship with Harry and Meghan. So when the Waleses moved to Adelaide Cottage, they literally became neighbors to Princess Eugenie and Jack Brooksbank. They're literally a 10-minute walk right there on the outer skirts of Windsor Castle. So it's a little strange, but they did end up moving out of Frogmore Cottage and into their marital home of Ivy Cottage. But apparently Prince Andrew was holding out Adelaide Cottage to give to his daughter and her husband, but then the Waleses decided to move from Kensington Palace. They moved into Adelaide Cottage. But now that Her Majesty the Queen has passed, I really see them moving into Windsor Castle because Charles has made it known he has no interest in moving to Windsor Castle. He is more about Buckingham Palace and Clarence House. So I think William and Catherine, it would make more sense to move to the big house, free up Adelaide Cottage, and perhaps give it to Eugenie and her husband, Jack Brooksbank. However, it's still a little dicey between them, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But my prediction is the Waleses will move to the big house. I also predict that Edward and Sophie will get the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh title, but it's going to happen around his birthday, which is in March, instead of right away. Now, a lot of people, including myself, were really upset. Why didn't he get the title upon, King Charles becoming king? But apparently there's a certain protocol. There was a rumor that perhaps he wasn't going to get the title because, again, Prince Charles is trying to streamline the royal family. And if he gives the Duke of Edinburgh title to Edward, it will then pass down to his son. And apparently, Prince Charles wants to stop the titles. But I predict he's going to honor his father and his mother's wishes. And he is going to give his brother, who I think deserves it, the Duke of Edinburgh title, but not until his birthday. There was a story that came out that Charles was going to save the title for Princess Charlotte, but I personally do not see that happening because that would be a huge slight to his brother and it would go against the wishes of his parents, and I don't see him doing that. Now, I predict that Lady Louise, who's off at college, might get herself a little college sweetheart. Again, this is a fun prediction. Maybe we'll get some photographs of her and her beau around town, but I think it would be adorable to see her because she is a young lady. So my prediction is we might see some photographs or hear stories of Lady Louise and her college boyfriend. Now, as I've stated before, I do believe that 2023 is going to be an honest horribilis for Harry and Meghan. And I think it's going to go very, very badly. It's not going to go the way they anticipate it. And they're already having a little bit of the backlash. Now, Harry and Meghan are definitely desperate right now for attention. They're trying to make themselves interesting. They're drumming up interest, competing with his brother. But there's already some major backlash with a lot of people not liking the trailer for their Netflix docuseries. They've even distanced themselves from the project. Now, when I saw the trailer, it looked like the Housewives of Montecito versus their docuseries and Meghan's love story. It didn't look like a love story. It looked like drama. It looked like something you would see from the Housewives. So they definitely had to, quote, sex up that docuseries. It was probably a snooze fest. And so that's why they're not happy, because it's not being told through their lens. It's not told the way they wanted to tell their story. Meghan keeps thinking she's Snow White, but she's really Cruella de Vil, and so she likes to pretend to be this sweet little innocent mom. I'm Julia Roberts, I'm Snow White, but you're not. That's not who you are. But in her mind, she really thinks that she's that person. But when it translates to camera, it doesn't quite come through as authentic. So that's the problem that they are having, is that the director, Liz Garbus, came in with all of this footage and was like, oh my God, I got to make this entertaining. So they definitely turned it more into a reality style show with a whole bunch of footage with Megan talking to the camera about her love story. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a train wreck before it even leaves the station. If you look at the reviews and the thumbs down, it's not looking good. I believe this docuseries is going to go down in history as a huge mistake, much like the Oprah Winfrey interview. It's going to be Oprah Winfrey on crack. And a lot of people are going to find a lot of inconsistencies throughout the docuseries. Now, there's a rumor that Harry contradicts himself in the docuseries and in his book, The Spare. Now, I don't know if they had edited out the footage or corrected the book, but apparently there's a lot of inconsistencies already. So the fact that Harry and Meghan keep distancing themselves from the docuseries, already throwing it under the bus, but it's going to be a train wreck. It might be a little delicious, but it's going to be a train wreck. In my opinion, it's going to be the start of the Honest Horribilis. Now, his book is also going to be another mistake. It's going to be another victimhood, wokehood. Again, he's probably going to do a lot of sales in the beginning because we all like a car crash. We all like the popcorn. We like the entertainment. It's going to probably do well initially, but once the word gets out, just like The Bench or a podcast, it's going to tank. It's not going to be a bestseller for long, maybe the first 2 weeks, but I think the book, along with the docuseries, is going to be a huge mistake. Now, I believe we're going to start seeing a little bit of Megxit 2.0, which is going to be Harry escaping Meghan. Megxit with Harry and Meghan escaping the palace. Now it's going to be Harry escaping Meghan. He's going to start plotting his escape. Again, this is just for fun. But I personally believe we're going to see some cracks in the marriage. They're going to be together, but they're going to be separate. A lot of solo appearances, but we're going to see major cracks behind the facade. Now, I also believe that their luck is going to run out in regards to their legal matters. I think Harry and Meghan are going to start paying the piper. They're going to have a lot of legal fees, and I think they're going to lose a couple of those lawsuits. They have 4 lawsuits out next year. I believe one of them maybe will be thrown out, but I think Samantha Markle might win her lawsuit, fingers crossed. But my prediction is they're not going to be so lucky next year. They're going to start paying the piper, and it's going to be a very expensive year for legal fees for the dynamic duo from Montecito. I also predict that we're going to see a lot of royal tours. As they mentioned, Charles and Camilla, William and Catherine are going to be visiting a lot of Commonwealth countries next year. I believe it's going to be very, very successful, although there could be some more tensions due to race that still might happen in 2023. I think the royal family is going to continue to be plagued by the racist allegations in 2023. But overall, I think the royals are going to win. It's going to be successful. And many of those Commonwealth countries who were thinking about becoming a republic, I think they're actually going to stay in the Commonwealth. So I think the royals are going to win 2023. They're going to turn it around, and Harry and Meghan are going to have the opposite. Again, the Honest Horribilis. So what are your thoughts? What do you guys think of these royal predictions? Do you have any royal predictions that you want to share? Leave them in your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and check out my other YouTube channel. I will be dropping my royally inspired Christmas guide sometime this week. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.